They call it a demographic time bomb. But what if it's not an explosion of chaos, but an eruption of power? Across this continent, a generation is rising. Young Africans, averaging just 19 years old, are inheriting a world hungry for what they possess: energy, innovation, and sheer numbers. The global workforce is aging, slowing. Africa is about to step into the void. For centuries, the narrative of Africa has been dictated from afar. A continent spoken, not a continent. A place reduced to headlines of hardship, obscuring a truth far more profound, far more powerful. We've been told stories of scarcity, of dependence, of a future perpetually deferred. But what if I told you that the future isn't waiting to arrive? What if I told you, the future is already here, simmering beneath the surface, ready to erupt? Look around. What do you see? Not the images often projected, but the faces of a generation. A generation unlike any before it. A generation connected, ambitious, and brimming with untapped potential. This is the generation that will redefine Africa, and in doing so, redefine the world. They are the architects of a new dawn, builders of a future forged in resilience and innovation. They are the key to unlocking Africa's true power. The numbers speak for themselves. The median age in Africa today: 19.7 years. Let that sink in. The youngest continent on Earth. A demographic tidal wave poised to reshape the global landscape. In 1950, Africa comprised just 9% of the global population. Today, that number is over 18% and still growing. This isn't just about numbers. It's about the energy, the drive, the sheer force of will that comes with a youthful population. A population ready to embrace change, to challenge the status quo, to build a better tomorrow. But here's where the old narrative truly crumbles. The narrative of Africa as a recipient of aid, a consumer of innovation. The truth is far more disruptive. Because by 2035, sub-Saharan Africa's workforce will exceed that of China. Wait, what? The whispers started decades ago. Africa rising. Africa awakening. But whispers fade. This, friends, is a generational earthquake. But why should the world beyond our borders take note? Because this demographic shift isn't just an African story, it's a global one. Consider this: while Europe ages and grapples with shrinking workforces, while other continents debate retirement ages, Africa stands poised to become the engine of the future global economy. Our youthful population is not merely a statistic, it's a potent, untapped resource. A workforce hungry for opportunity, eager to innovate, and ready to compete on the world stage. And the world is already taking notice. China, recognizing this potential, has poured over $2 trillion into African infrastructure and development since the year 2000. That's more than the entire US Marshall Plan, designed to rebuild Europe after World War II. Think about those numbers for a moment. That is a serious commitment. A belief in Africa's potential that dwarfs previous global investment strategies. But it's not just about investment. It's about influence. It's about recalibrating the balance of power. These partnerships are reshaping trade routes, redefining diplomatic alliances, and challenging the established world order. This isn't a scenario where Africa is simply being helped. This is a strategic alignment. African nations are actively negotiating deals, setting terms, and driving their own development agendas. We are not passive recipients, we are active partners. So, the question isn't whether Africa matters. It's about how quickly the world will adapt to the reality that Africa is becoming increasingly central to the global narrative. However, consider this final, crucial point: according to the UN, by 2050, over half of the world's fastest-growing economies will be in Africa. But the real bombshell: over 60% of that African population will be living in urban centers. Wait, what? So, what does a continent brimming with youthful energy actually for Africans alive today? It means opportunity. The chance to shape our own narratives, to build economies that serve, and to innovate solutions to challenges no one else understands quite like we do. Imagine a future where African ingenuity powers global industries, where our perspective drives innovation, and where African voices lead the conversations. This isn't just a hopeful dream, it's a tangible possibility fueled by the energy and potential of our young people. And for those ready to contribute, remember, equipping yourself with the right tools is key. Visit pornoafric.com/shop.html and check out our creator kit for just $47, everything you need to start documenting African story. The future is undoubtedly African. Let's build it together. Tag someone who needs to hear the African Story Globe Show in Europe, Africa.